Hey everyone, back again doing LeetCode for threesome. For this problem, we are given an integer array nums return all the triplets such that they don't equal to each other and that they all add up to 0. Notice that the solution set must not contain duplicated triplets. So for example 1, we have this list, you should return back a list of three numbers that add up to 0. So -1 plus -1 is -2 plus 2 is 0, -1 plus 0 plus 1, and it also equals 0, and it doesn't have any duplicated. And for this example here, there are no integers, so we return empty array. And then same thing for the third one. Similar for the third one, where we have less than 3, we just return nothing. Um, for this problem, I am going to try a different approach that is not the most efficient, but somewhat logical in my opinion to kind of solve it. And the reason for picking this approach is just to remove, to solve the duplicate by itself for the most part by using sets. Um, so yeah, let's get started. I'm gonna create a set. Mutable set equals mutable set of, and then the type inside the set would be a list of integers. So we're gonna contain a set of set, and then inside the set would be a list of integers. So you know you can have -1, -1, 2, and then uh, and you have -1, 0, 1, and then you can't have duplicate because the set will remove it for you. So that solves it for makes it easier for us. And then we want to repeat this from first character. Just loop through the array pretty much, and we want to utilize one of the two-sum techniques to solve this problem. And for me, I am thinking of using like the dictionary approach that I usually use to solve two-sum. I know some other people use like the pointers to do it, but I kind of want to just utilize the mutable set instead of sorting it, so I'm going to do it with a different approach. So first I'm going to just get the val that I am, so I'm going to show val equals to nums of it, and then we are going to get all the possible sums on it. So we also know this. I want to keep track of the starting index, because if we start at index 0, we want to find the two sums. For my approach is for whatever number I'm picking, I'm gonna find the two sum of this that equals to the 0 minus the initial values, which is the targets to do that. So starting index would equals it plus 1. So it is at 0, and then starting index for this case would be it plus 1. And then I'm also going to need my target, which equals to 0 minus my initial val. So now into the target, the way to solve the two sum. Now I need to write that, which we could do with a for loop where with I and starting index all the way to nums dot size minus 1. So this would start. I would start at 1 and then go all the way to uh 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 5. The num size minus 1. So, and then we also going to need to create a map to keep track the difference So for this map, it will actually have key is the difference and the value is the index. So the purpose of creating this map to solving the two sum over here, and when we encounter 0, we want to find the difference of the target. In this case, the target is actually 1 because 0 minus 1 is 1. So we want to look at 1 minus 0 is 1. So we want to store it. The value would be 1, and then the end, or the key would be 1, and then the value would be the index of it. And then when we do find the map with the key, we could return the index for it. So I'm gonna start off with if the map contains the key of nums I. So this is the case where if the map has it, but I want to actually start writing code for the else statement. So first we should find the difference, which equals to target minus nums of I. So we know the target was 1, and then target 1 minus the value inside the index I with a 0, so it's 1. And to just make the map that difference equals to the index, which is I. So now if we go back to the map, if the map contains the key, so we know the third time, or the second time through the for loop, nums I is 1, and the map contains it. So that means we have we know one of the index could be I, and then the other one is the map's value for my index, and then we also know the initial val, so this is one of our first answers. So in order to do this, let's create some values. ival equals to nums I, and then we also know the diff val, which is access. So to get the diff, we need to do maps that nums of I, and we know this exists because we did the if statement here. And then to get the actual val, we wrap it around nums. So because this returns the index and this returns the actual value. So now we have the value of I, the value of diff the difference, and then we also have the initial value. So now I'm just gonna write a quick sort function for three integers, and then I'm gonna create a list, or I'm gonna add this to the create a list of this value. So first I'm gonna just sort a pair. So if I val is less than diff val, then I know I want to create a pair of create a pair of I val to diff val, since this is sorted, and then else it would be a pair of diff val comma I val. So this is a sorted pair, and now I want to create a sorted list, including the initial val. So if initial val is less than sorted pair that first, then we could return back a list of initial val sorted pair that first, sorted pair that second, and because we know second is greater than first, and then we have initial val. Now, if the initial val is greater than the sorted pair that second, then can just put it at the end of it. And finally, we have an else statement. So we cover it could be before or after. And for the else, it would be in the middle. First initial val, and then sort of pair that second. And then finally, we could add this list to our mutable set that add sort of list. And then finally, after the repeat, we should return mutable set that to list. So just quickly converting it from a set to a list. Repeat nums. Nums. It's called map. So that's where that S went. Cool. Looks like work. Submitting this and it's accepted. Thanks for watching. I hope this explanation helps a little bit. I am just going with a different approach that was logical in my head of how I would solve this with the way I solved to sum, which was to create a map using diff and stuff. I do notice that the runtime and memory usage isn't the best, but I think it's okay as long as you solve the problem.